everybody, it's Lori with Main Street Gardener, and today I am of course not in a garden. I am here in my living room. This is our front room. It's actually called a parlor space. Back in the old days, they had these pocket doors and they would socialize and people would come in through the front door, and this was the lively or heart of the home. But right now, it's not feeling much of the heart of the home. It's a little bit of a mess after the holidays. So I wanted to give this space a refresh, and I thought I'd bring you along. So today I'm going to go over just a few ideas of how you could simply, easy, and even on a budget, refresh your living room area. So we are going to add some gorgeous plants to the mantle. I've got some new containers I want to show you. And then we're just going to go around the room and refresh, rearrange some other plants, rearrange some of my garden books, and just have a lot of fun. I think I can do this in under an hour. So I'm going to set the timer and let's go. Okay, so tip number one is to add greenery. In the winter, I love to bring the outdoors in. Now, these are actually houseplants, so they are going to love being in this brightly lit room. Now, if you don't have a brightly lit room, there are tons of houseplants that do great in a shaded or low light area. So I found these fantastic containers on Amazon. I will give the link below. I wanted something that was this matte finish. These are ceramic. And they do have a tray. I need to grab it in the other room that will go underneath to protect my wood surface. I thought this was the perfect size for my mantle. My mantle is very small, but this would really allow me to bring some greenery into the space. So our first step is to bring greenery into our room. And now we're going to go get these planted up and brought back into this room. Let's go get them planted.
So to get started, I'm just filling the containers with some organic potting mix. I had this left over from another project. It is a little clumped up. Now I'm not pre-soaking this because I have overly or thoroughly watered the house plants today. I let them soak up from the roots. So the house plants I'm using are small. I think they're about a 4-inch. Got these at a local garden center. They were about $4.99 each. So they're bigger than a start. They've got great roots and they're a mix of tropicals. And I know that these are going to do great indoors. So this one is not a tropical, but the rest are, and they should all do fine. The roots look great. Now, what I like to do when I get plants from a garden center is sometimes I do take some of the dirt off the roots if I need to fit it in the container, but I always take the dirt off the top. That's where your fungus gnats, other insects will harbor, especially when they leave their eggs. So I take that dirt off and then I'm able to just put them in and put fresh soil all around them. So that is how easy it is. Again, the containers I'll put in a link in the description of the video. I really like them. I will say though, since they're a matte finish, that you just have to be sure you don't scratch them or get any kind of water stain. So I will use my real skinny watering can to water these plants. I can also sit them in the sink and kind of bottom water them because there are large holes in the bottom of the containers. So an easy project to just freshen up your house is definitely adding some beautiful houseplants. Even if you are not real successful at houseplants, look at the labels. There are tons that will tell you if they work in bright light or if they work in low light. There are even some that work great in humid conditions, like in your bathroom. So it's just a fun way. Even if you just try one or two, you can just have so much fun with those. Now I do see a root sticking up here. Don't worry, I'm going to catch that later when I'm putting it on the mantle. I will get that root in the ground. Okay, so I'm going to do a little cleanup and then I'll meet you at the mantle to see how these look. So I think these turned out great. I really think the size works. I could have probably done 3, but I think 2 is plenty. Now, this is an example of you can get water stains or dirt smudges because these are matte. So just be sure that you think about that before you purchase them. But I did a lot of research and I love that these are ceramic and really sturdy. So I really like the way it turned out. I think the plants look beautiful. They are going to love this bright sunny area. And I really like bringing this little bit of fresh green into the home. Now I'm going to add a second element, which is my number 2 tip. So let me tell you more about that.
So step number 2 is add or use candles. Candles are just a great way to refresh your home. You can change out the color of your candles, whether it's tapers or I even have pillars all over the house. They're pretty inexpensive. You can get them at big box stores. You can get them online, and it's just a fun way. So I have some in all colors and I just store them for the seasons. I love to pull them out. Now, I don't use mine very often because they are tapers, but it just adds a little touch of color and some fun, especially if you have a historic mantle or farmhouse mantle, or even if you have something modern, candles work great. So that's my number 2 refresh your candles. So tip number 3 is to use your garden books. If you're like me, you may have several books. If you want some recommendations, I'll be glad to send some your way. So I love to collect vintage books. This is one called The Treasury of American Gardening, and it is just fantastic. But I love that it has these vintage floral prints in them. So I flipped it to January, something that will give me maybe some inspiration for a winter arrangement. What I decided to do was go through my books, and I have some of my favorites here, but then over on my coffee table, I actually went through and I placed the books that I definitely want to enjoy and read during this winter season. So I love Sarah Raven's A Year Full of Flowers. I love The Cutting Garden by Sarah Raven. So I thought I might review those. Let you see the titles here. So I placed books that I really want to review back on my coffee table. We have this large coffee table that was handmade when we lived in Texas, and I just love it. So then I have some of my other books right here. So tip 3 is bring out your garden books, make them part of your space and enjoy them, especially during the season of winter. Okay, so number 3 is actually going to be clean up and declutter. So this room has become a catch-all. I am going to declutter, move some things around, and see if I can simplify and minimalize the look in this space. Let's go. Okay, you guys, it's been about an hour and I got it done. So excited. So tip number 4 would be to actually clean up dust. That's just going to make you feel so good. It's those things that we sometimes put off, especially in the winter, but it just feels fresh, clean. It smells good in here. I still need to do some things with the couch, but that's where the pups love to be. So it's always a little bit of a mess. But I was able to clean up my coffee table, clean up this kind of just table we have at the window. I wanted to just simplify it. I picked up this gorgeous um, plant. These are by Proven Winners, and you may see them in your big box stores. It's in this glass jar, and I just think it's so interesting. The trick is you have to refresh the water once a month, but I don't think that's too bad. And it's right here in a spot where I can see it. I think it will do great in this space with lots of light. I can't wait to see how it grows, and I will give you an update. And then the biggest change was to the mantle, and I absolutely love it. I just love the fresh greens and the fresh candles and the green. I just think it really turned out beautiful, and it was so simple. I'm probably not going to keep these plants here all year, but at least until spring, I think they look beautiful. Then I could move them to my windows if I wanted to in the springtime. I could also replant them once they start getting too big.
Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.